This is Minecraft, a sandbox game where you can do whatever you want and it never ends. This is Minecraft Hardcore, a sandbox game where you can do whatever you want, but as soon as you die you have to start all over again. Pretty stupid, innit? Who'd wanna do that? Over the last 4 months I've spent 330 hours or nearly 14 whole days in Minecraft Hardcore without skipping a night by sleeping even once. And now I've reached day 1000 and already done dozens of crazy and impressive things, which are all just the start to an incredible adventure. And if you subscribe and join the Discord, you can become part of it. When I hopped into the world, I'd chosen a seed with a very specific location several thousands of blocks away that I wanted to travel to. But right at the start, I unfortunately took 2 hearts of damage, which is why I had to break some mushrooms and make a whole bunch of soups. I then went by boat for a few blocks, but the sun was already starting to set, and that's where I encountered my first problem. I wasn't sleeping in this world, but neither was I gonna risk running around at night without any gear. And with that in mind, my best option was to swim down to a sunken ship and barricade myself. By the time I was done drying the whole thing, it was already daytime again and I continued traveling. From that point on, I spent several hours traveling in the day and setting up a safe place at night. Eventually, I reached a little village on a peninsula right next to my desired location, and after enslaving the locals, I got busy getting set up. After that was done, I searched for a fortress and then killed some blazes. I then went back to my peninsula and equipped myself with fully enchanted armor and tools and tons of slow falling potions that had been easy to come by because I wasn't sleeping and was therefore getting haunted by phantoms every night. Then I started searching for the stronghold. After just a few minutes, I had located the portal room and entered the end. There, I quickly killed the Ender Dragon, who stood no chance against me, and then I visited the outer end islands to get myself an elytra. With good equipment and elytra and an effective XP farm, I'd now got all the necessary things for the start set up. With that, I then fought my first raid to get some invincibility through totems, before I decided that I didn't want to inhabit some old villager's shack that I'd already turned into a chest monster anymore, and so I built a starter home. Now with a home setup too, I started the automation of the first basic resources. I built myself the villager tower, basically just 5 villagers stacked on top of each other, and a triple iron farm. After that, I found another fortress in the Soul Sand Valley where I got myself 3 wither skeleton skulls. Then I defeated my first wither with relative ease, before I made a beacon that was used to get stone as a cheap building block for later. Then I got myself some bee nests, which I used to harvest honeycomb until I had enough to build a decently sized automatic bee farm that I first only needed to use honeycomb as a building block, because I'll always try to go the extra mile if it improves my builds. After that I continued the grind by building a gold farm for golden apples, which I needed to cure villagers before I realized the inevitable. My villager tower didn't work properly and was way too far away from the location where I wanted to have my trading hall. With the villager breeders fixed and moved, I started construction on my trading hall. And after a few hours of tedious building and villager handling, I'd built my most insane trading hall ever. It was filled with 192 villagers, all locked up and quickly accessible so that I could easily get all of the resources they provide cheaply with only a little bit of lag. But that hadn't been the last important farm, because there's one key ingredient to every Minecraft world that I still had to painfully farm by hand: rockets. Now the sugarcane wasn't a big problem, but farming gunpowder wasn't only annoying, but also dangerous. By the way, talking about dangerous things, speedy boat, jump out, put the boat back in there, float back up. And that's how you use my Enderman farm. My heart was racing and so many things were going through my mind at this moment. Would I die of falling into the void again? Would I be fast enough? I just had to try it. I'm so bad. Well, anyway, back to the creeper farm. But I wasn't planning on just having a giant ugly farm floating in the sky, and so I had to design a gigantic build to enclose it. For the collection of all the resources, I built myself a concrete converter, because a big part of the over 50,000 blocks I needed were concrete. And then I built my biggest building ever. With all that farming and building out of the way now, it was time to work on my equipment again. It hadn't significantly changed since the start of this journey, and there was still a lot left to do. So I started off by getting myself a parrot. And no, that's got absolutely nothing to do with my mission. But what does is the trident I acquired sometime later, as well as the shulker box filled with elytras I farmed up next. All the other enchantments and tools were sold by my villagers, and after several hours of trading, I was ready to start enchanting and naming everything. After I was done, I had a shulker box of armor, elytras, distance weapons, pickaxes, shovels, axes, shields and shears. And with that, I had finally got all the equipment and I was ready to move on, right? Wrong. And now I was nearly done. The only thing left to do was to get some soul speed for my main boots. So I traded with a few piglins and now I can move on. So next I wanted to automatically farm sugarcane and build an automatic flying machine farm for all sorts of things for it. But before I decided to build a slime farm, because those are always handy. So I traveled to a mycelium biome, exploded the top of 4 chunks that were next to each other, realized that slimes are hostile mobs and don't spawn there, exploded another chunk in the ocean right next to the mycelium biome, built a slime farm there and tested it for 20 minutes or 1 in-game day. Great news, I've now got a title for my video. And you've already seen it, but it's My Slime Farm's Better Than Mambo's. Now the bad news is not very much better. In 20 minutes of AFKing I got 20 slime balls, which translates to 1 slime ball per minute. Apparently I thought it was intelligent to build all of this at Y-58. There weren't any big caves nearby. Turns out 100 spaghetti caves also spawn more mobs than 1 slime chunk. Who would have thought that? Well, anyway, I then made a flying machine farm, but a special one, because normally those always break when they're unloaded. But this one is a special one designed by Borken that doesn't. But I also had to decorate that sugarcane, bamboo, dripstone and nether wine farm, and with that I started my western village. With this building I'd started a giant project and a story. There was gonna be this big beautiful western village that lived here peacefully, or as peacefully as you can live in the Wild West. And then right next to it was that gigantic drill built by a big corporation that hadn't asked for permission and that was digging out tons of gold while annoying the locals. But now, after all of this was done, I wanted to do one special thing. I wanted to do my homework, but in Minecraft. Because in geometry we had to use a 3D modeling program to make some sort of vehicle. And in its core, Minecraft is basically a blocky 3D modeling program. So I decided to not take some reference for that school project off of the internet, but to build myself something I'd later model in Minecraft before and make an episode out of it. But first, I had to decide on what to do. Okay, hello random guy, I made a It Takes Two Let's Play with.
Hello, what's up?
I need to give you a multiple choice question. What color would you choose? Green, yellow, blue or red?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yes.
Thanks, bye. And with that, I had to build a pirate ship. I then went on to collect tons of resources. But I'm not gonna bore you with that. So instead, let's show you something more interesting that happened in the middle of the building process. Twice. And now, while doing all of this, I think I'd like to get my first mob head actually. No. Yes. How does it not have the right enchantment on it? Anyway, let's collect it. We're gonna have to do that right after this storm. And then explode the creeper. What? A charged creeper was stupid enough to explode far enough away to not kill any zombies. Now I've got a zombie head. Nice. And now let's find the next mob. Oh, I hate you. Push it. Oh, he killed it anyway. Nice. Now we gotta get another 2 creepers, and you are so annoying. Lightning's over. Please don't say lightning's already over. Suddenly it's less dark, but it had just started. Oh, okay, it's still there. Yes. No head. The other one exploded first. That's bad. I need to get the charged creeper to explode before the other one. Both are charged now. That's actually good because no matter who explodes, I'm gonna get the head. Except if the zombie interferes. Yes, creeper head. Now I've got 1 of every head. Let's see if I can get some other heads. And then I built the pirate ship. So now we've got a beautiful pirate ship built just in survival without any extensive planning, and I absolutely adore it. It contains 2 bedrooms for the crew, a bathroom, a dining table, accessible cannons, a kitchen and the captain's room up here. The best and most detailed room on the ship and home to my parrot, which I've now named Jack. Because in reality, no one's here anymore and this all belongs to him. But now, after playing for over 800 in-game days already, I have to clean up this world a little bit, because there are lots of kind of unfinished projects here, and I don't wanna have that. So I started off by finishing my starter base, because it had been a floating island all that time, and now I connected it to the ground. After that, I cleaned up and expanded the peninsula right next to my base, making it less messy and turning it into a blank canvas to be used for future projects. Next up was preparation for some future activities. Because when I had gotten myself those mob heads, I had also destroyed quite a lot of landscape with the charged creepers. That's why I decided to build a mob head platform out of waterlogged half slabs, which would never blow up. And after all of that improving, I basically decided to try and lose this world. Well, now I've also killed 3 withers at once, I guess, so let's continue improving. And what needed to be enhanced now was the western area. So I first expanded this hole to quite an elaborate size, before improving this big grey blob here, as well as the first western house, and making them feel much more lifted. And after that, just one more thing had to be done: the pirate ship. A fish on the Soundeffects Discord had given me tips for how to build a ship, and using those, I was able to improve mine quite a bit. But there's one more, much more important addition to that ship: a sperm whale. And while writing this script, I just decided to call him Dobby. But now, let's get to my last and most insane project in this world: golden apples. Because golden apples have a very interesting ability: they can get you more health. To be precise, every golden apple adds an additional 4 health points or 2 hearts to your health bar for exactly 2 minutes. That means if you avoid taking damage and you eat the golden apple every 2 minutes, you'll have 20% more health at all times. And that's exactly what I wanted. But to get enough gold for all of those golden apples, I needed an insane gold farm. Having decided to build a 2-player farm, I first had to get 32,000 obsidian. So I started off this project by building an automatic obsidian farm and farming 80 to 90,000 obsidian. Then I had to farm even more different resources, but in that process I reached day 1000. And now, sometime later, I've farmed wood, I've done all of that, I've gotten some iron, and I'm at day 999, and day 1000 is just a few seconds away in this world. It's the longest hardcore world I've ever had, and the one that I've accomplished the most in. It's the first one I'm really happy with already, and that I wasn't unhappy with when I died. So I'm standing on the best build that I've built in this world. Took me like 70 hours to make or something. Not in game, but with designing. With designing probably more. In game a bit less, and we're at 1000 days. You can see. With the drone. Everything's firing. That's everything I had. Didn't prepare something huge because it's just 1000 days, it's not too much. At 10,000 days I'm sure we're gonna have something big. And yes, I am definitely... okay, I'm not gonna say I'm definitely gonna reach that, because I'm probably gonna die before, but I think I will reach it. Personally, I think I can. Partly because of the crazy plan we've got today. And for everyone who stayed to the end, there's also one other project I've never explained to you. A project I've spent at least 10% of the playtime in this world on. And a project that isn't finished yet. So I'm not yet ready to tell you about it. And with that cliffhanger I created there, the first part of this journey comes to an end. You can also see everything that happened so far in much greater detail if you watch my hardcore series, and you'll also see how the journey continues there. And I'm gonna be back with the 2000 days video in a few months. There's also another small hardcore YouTuber who has recently commented under one of my videos. I've had a chat with them on Discord and we really liked each other's videos. So maybe you could help him to reach 100 subscribers. For now, you can like this video and wait for my next one. It's not gonna be a let's play, but I've got something very special planned.